these days, I'm going to use this strategy to batch a ton of Instagram content for a month or two, schedule them to auto post without me ever opening Instagram, and then low-key take a social media detox and wonder if anyone will notice. My name is Mica Gonzalez, that is M-I-C-A, Gonzalez with a Z. And for more digital productivity tips for content creators, consider doing the whole liking and subscribing thing so that YouTube can let me know that I should keep making videos just like this one. And real quick, in case you missed it, I have previously done a deep dive on my productivity strategy that is content batching in another video, which you can find by clicking on the little card that pops up here. And in that video, I tell you why and how batching works and why it works so well. So if you feel like you want to see why batching really works, even if you're an extremely busy person, I'll leave it up to you if you want to check that video out before or after watching this one. So right off the bat, I want to make a note that this video is based entirely on my personal Instagram batching process. So please don't look at this as a strict set of rules, but rather as a starting point that you can just adjust based on your own circumstances, schedules, and etc. So batching a month's worth of Instagram posts in a week. Let's get into it. The first thing I do is actually something I don't necessarily repeat, but for purposes of this video, let me talk you through it anyway. So to help me brainstorm topics and ideas for Instagram posts, I set like a daily theme, kind of like each day of the week has a theme. So like when people do Monday quotes or Throwback Thursday, that kind of thing. And this step is really only to help me think of post ideas. It's always better for me to have prompts like this, even if I don't actually stick to that schedule. So if I say that my overall theme on Tuesdays is sharing actionable tips, for example, I don't need to limit those to just Tuesdays. It's really just more like some days I have no idea what to post. So when I remember that, oh hey, I have a Tuesday tips theme, I can go, oh yeah, what kind of tips can I post for this particular week? And if you're an absolute ideas machine that just can't keep all those ideas in, then that's really cool. You could probably get away with not having themes and prompts just like me. So that's good for you. So then my next step is to decide how many posts that I want to create that month. This can vary for any reason. For example, if I'm launching a product or I'm opening doors to my courses, then I will ramp up the volume, probably post daily for a couple weeks. But when it's not a big month for my business, I will usually just aim for about 15 posts a month or like a post every other day on average. And then I will move on to giving specific topics for these posts. So many times they will fall into my broader themes, and I may move things around at this point, sometimes because I like to do a follow-up post or maybe a series or something. And finally, for this tip, I try to assign what type of visual might go along with this topic. So I try to see how I can best present my idea. Is it through a doodle, an illustration, a quote, a GIF? Now, it's important for me to mention that sometimes whatever I assign can get changed down the line, especially as I'm making things. So maybe this post that I originally wanted to be a video ends up better as a carousel. That's okay. It's just part of the creative process, but at least I'm not running dry. So all these things that I have mentioned so far, you can do in just a day, honestly. I mean, these are just ideas and topics after all, so the brunt of the work is really in the next few steps. Okay, so over the next 2 to 3 days, I will devote to creating images for my plan for the month. So these images, if you follow me on Instagram, can be completely made from Photoshop, just like quotes or an illustration or a diagram. It could be a photo that I took or that's something I already have. It's a mix of both, a carousel, an album, a snippet of a video that I did. It's honestly really just whatever I feel that I need. So you can play around with your visual content depending on your Instagram goals. I mean, maybe you post memes and stuff, so go ahead and do stuff like that. The easiest way for me to deal with like variety of post types has been to, batch according to these post types. So if I'm making YouTube video snippets, then I'll do all of these at once. If I'm making carousels, which by the way take up the most of my IG creation time, then I'm going to do all of those all at once. And then it's pretty rinse and repeat until all of the posts for the month are done. And I also just have a sidebar that I have a handy Notion database where I stay on top of everything. So in case you do want me to do a tour of my Instagram content planning space on Notion, then be sure to leave a comment letting me know. And also real quick, if you are getting any value out of this video, I would love it if you hit like on this video and maybe leave a comment. How often do you post on Instagram? Are you happy with your posting schedule? Or do you think that it can be a little better? Hope you can engage with me here. I love seeing you guys in the comments. So now let's move on. Okay, so the next thing that I do after getting all of my visuals done is writing the captions for all of these posts. Again, depending on the season of my business, this can vary. I will obviously always write longer posts when I'm promoting something, but sometimes there are months when I have nothing to sell, then I'm just okay with generally very short captions. So this can take between 1 to 2 days, maybe 3 if that month has a lot of posts that have a lot of long captions. And also generally I talk a lot, so I mean that's why I have longer captions. You might not. And then finally, my personal favorite part of my IG planning process, scheduling these posts for publishing. I like using apps like Preview or Later to help me do all this, and one reason that I like to use apps is not just to see how my feed might look. I'm not really too concerned with that, although the feed preview feature is kind of nice. It's nice to see how my feed's gonna look before everyone else knows, but I mostly just use these apps because of their auto posting feature. I just like being able to set and forget, and yeah, sure, they are paid features from these apps, but for me, the time that I save, the energy that I save, instead of doing this manually is just so worth it. And because I have all of these visuals and captions and the dates for when to post them, then it takes maybe like less than an hour to actually put everything on scheduling apps and then spend the rest of the months focusing on more, I don't know, important things for my business. All in all, that's the simple walkthrough of how I batch my IG posts for the month. I hope it gave you a ton of ideas for your own Instagram, and I especially hope that it helps you save a ton of time every single week, every single month. Again, if you got any value out of this video, then please consider doing the whole liking and subscribing thing. That always helps me out. It helps me help more people like you, and you would be helping me do just that. And as always, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, you know, all that amazing stuff. I really appreciate you, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye!